Okay, we're here this evening with Bronwyn from Your Earth Food, and Russell from Green Clean, and Sabine from Green Clean. And together we are talking microbes, superstructured water, and orgone today. Now, Bronwyn and I just started liaising together to work on a new project, rejuvenating gardens and rejuvenating trees and plants. And approached her with the fact that we work with structured water to clean up waterways in nature. And I had the idea of treating the trees. And she said, well, soil-based microbes is the go. So can you tell us about soil-based microbes?
That's exactly my lane. Hello, everybody, and thank you for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it. One of the things that I'm seeing right now is we have a tipping point, not only for humanity, but for Mother Nature, and particularly Australian natural history, flora and fauna. This is more like where the system has broken down. When systems break down, then we have an interference of what do we do? How do we fix it? And usually it's more of the same, which caused the breaking of the system in the first place. So, from a earth food perspective, earth food is nitrifying living soil microbes. We are not a compost tea, a seaweed tea, or extractions, or even worm juice. We are ancient living soil microbes. And these have a soil intelligence because that's their job. That's where they've been. That's what they do. Since before all of humanity came, they were always there. And that's why you can see a rainforest standing in a meter of soil over a bed of rock because these microbes hold it there. And these are like the ancient ones that you find in ancient soil, rainforest soil. In fact, we call this rainforest in a bottle. That's one of the things we say. They do have a memory and an intelligence.
Mm.
And when we put these back into the soil and step away, let Mother Nature repair what's been going on and bring back the life of the soil for the plants. When you've got healthier plants, you have healthier people. We're eating, you have healthier birds and insects, and they filter water along waterways. It's bringing back the Garden of Eden, if you like, because that's their job. And the reason why I was particularly keen when I met the Green Clean team is because Earth food has a frequency of 7 to 12 hertz. Now, 7.8 is Mother Nature's heartbeat. That's the beat of the earth. That's also about water. When you have movement of water, it carries a frequency. It carries a livability that only movement brings. An example, if I lied in a bed all day for weeks on end, I would lose my mass, my muscle mass, my bone density, probably my intelligence would decay, and my nervous system would be inflamed, and it would just basically be inoperable, non-functional, because you need movement. Use it or lose it, as the saying goes. And it's the same with water and with soil biome. We need to put back what always was there before we came along and used all of our man-made things, corporations, you know, it's putting it back and stepping away. Let Mother Nature come back and take care, not just of the soil and us and all living things, but the planet. The whole planet has been affected over the time frame of, well, not so much you, Brad and Sabrina, you guys are so young. But for us and ourselves, it's in our lifetime. This
Mm,
happened in our lifetime.
mm. Yeah, so I want to talk about how in sync It is in a way because when we started out to harmonize the weather because of the geoengineering and pollution. Things are out of resonance or out of balance. So we started setting up these nature harmony stations, which produce an orgone field, which remove the stagnation to bring back more of nature's own energy. So orgone energy is that primordial life force energy or prana or chi. It's what nature's made up out of. So we're basically generating it and sending it back out in a much bigger radius to give areas more of nature's own energy, which is doing the harmonizing. And then we got into the structured water, which Sabine will talk about how structured water is a way of setting water back to its original blueprint.
Yeah, I just got really excited, Bronwyn, when you everything you said, because as Brad just said, everything is totally in sync with what we are doing and how Brad started out green clean with the intention to drop back into nature's blueprint, because as you say, nature has everything. There's all the minerals, all the salts, everything works together in a beautiful symbiosis. And so with the harmony stations, for example, we are generating the beautiful torus fields that helps to dissolve, as Brad said, any stagnation and really allow nature to do her own thing as she's always done. And I feel the same with structured water. Also, it's all about the memory. I feel nature herself holds that ancient memory. And as you said, Bronwyn, with the microbes, yeah, microbes have always been there. They've been there before we showed up. And it's that absolute essential part. And I feel the same with structured water and our approach to bring back or let the water memorize that blueprint that water holds, and the same with nature. And I feel also then bringing the weather work as above so below, it all has to work together beautifully. And I feel like we are sort of all the missing link that's coming together.
Mm.
100%. And one of the things I wanted to add to that, yes, we do have nanoparticles of metals, unhelpful metals, and so on coming from the sky and other chemicals. Now, when we have the soil microbes, remember they're not waterborne, like we explained it just before, they're soil. They're carnivorous. They clean up metal. We also have a suite that we use like on mining sites where we can clean up diesel, we can clean up sulfuric acid, we can clean up, that's their job. That's the repair toolkit for Mother Nature. So they can clean up the chemicals on your food. They can clean up the chemicals in your backyard. And they do it without complaint. They're an army of hardworking little fellas, and they just get things done. And it's been proven. You can actually find them. Now, in regards to what you were saying, one of the things that I think Rusty was saying another time is that glyphosate. Rusty, what were you saying? You were saying that you felt something about glyphosate is being overly used.
Yeah, and particularly like in Byron in particular along the coast there, where all the trees are, they're all died. They're all dying and and so many of them have died. And I was sitting there just contemplating it one day, and I just thought it's probably the glyphosate.
Yes. So I would actually add to that. I've been a real fighter for well, I shouldn't say that word, should I? I've been an advocate for the non the fire ant poisoning spraying. Now, that is a program. It's a biosecurity preventative treatment. It's not a treatment, it's a preventative treatment. Mark that word and underline it. The preventative treatment goes from Noosa to Toowoomba to Byron Bay. Northern rivers and Southeast Queensland have had a hammering of it. It's documented in so many ways, and we know this. we were dealing with two it was two federal former politicians and a billionaire to try and stop this. Unfortunately, for all the people that are involved, we only got 3 submissions and affidavits to submit. So I sort of stepped away from that because it was just, I felt like people were quite happy to just go down this merry path because it's like, oh, it doesn't affect me until it does. And then they say, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I say, well, you know, you can just go to the page and go and read everything. It's just something that's just happened in the last several years. And it's going to continue to happen because there's quite a significant budget that's been put together for this. I'm finding now that some of that poison is actually affecting a lot of the soil microbes.
Yeah.
And if you are using waterborne microbes, which helps to feed the plant, you will find that they are also affected. What also gets affected are the soil insects and grubs and roly-polies and things like that. Roly-polies are amazing. They clean up metals as well, but they're dying off because of the poisons. So we're starting to find the system is breaking. The system that looked after the root zone of the trees, that looked after minerals and selenium and plant growth and plant immunity, that's broken. And one of the things that was in common with Green Clean and Earth Food was that not only do we believe in doing the right thing, we also believed in what was happening is the beautiful Pandana trees are in trouble down the east coast of Australia, particularly in regions of the Byron Bay area.
Yeah.
Now, when a tree dies, that's not the sign of the tree dying, is not the fact the tree is dying. It's a sign the soil is dying. That's the problem. The tree is the result of something that happened before. And usually, if it is glyphosate, here's what glyphosate does. I'm speaking layman's terms, so if there's any big super professionals out there, excuse my baby language, but it's easier for people to understand. Glyphosate will bind the minerals in the soil. Well, what's soil? Soil is minerals. I'm walking, talking 87 minerals right now. When I die, microbes will break me down into 87 minerals. Anything that's had life before, a leaf, an insect, a bird, a cow, will all break down to minerals. That's all the planet is. It's nothing fancy. No one thinks about this. Well, glyphosate binds the minerals together. So it's starving plants. And because of that binding and drying out and compaction, the water sits on top. And that's how you get so much flooding. It doesn't absorb into the ground. With structured water meanders. When it's in the right place, it will find a home and it will actually build up so that you have waterways. And these invisible waterways, we have them everywhere, but we don't see them because we've used glyphosate, which has bound up the areas where it would naturally fill and it would naturally flow. So everything sits on top. All water, all chemicals, all that sits on top because there's no real movement deep in the ground. That then is a problem because you've got dry roots, you've got dried effects on the soil. So these microbes, soil microbes, they unlock all those minerals, they unlock the selenium, at the root zone. The plant actually eats like it's at a salad bar, helps itself. There's no extra, you don't need minerals because the minerals are there. You don't need nitrogen because they bring nitrogen from the air. We're breathing 78% nitrogen now. They bring it from the air and lock it into the soil. Don't need to add a thing. As I say, step away, put your hands behind your back, don't touch. And same with structured
Mm.
water.
Mm.
Structured water brings back that movement that should be there in a natural flow. That
Mm.
should, when that little area is absorbed to a point where it's actually starting to lift up to the surface of the ground, it creates what we term as invisible waterways, which eventually can turn into little billabongs.
Mm.
That's how we should be here in Australia. We should have little billabongs everywhere. But when was the last time you saw one?
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, funny that because Russell and I have a mission to bring back the billabongs to the deserts and bring back rain and oases to the drier regions, which is already happening since we did a bunch of weather work out at Uluru and some of these remote areas where we put these borosilicate glass balls into the water, which pulses and structures the water via frequency. And then when the water's structured, it's able to connect with the rest of nature, such as the formation of clouds. If the water's stagnant, it's not resonating with the trees and the weather. So by putting the pulse, the energy back in the water, and nature can do its thing. So, Russell, do you want to talk about structured water on a scientific level? Mention the what it is on a scientific level, the hexagonal form, and then I'm going to talk about how how this idea evolved of using the superstructured water to carry your soil microbes into the ground.
Yeah, so basically, structured water is what flows, well, used to flow down a creek or a river. In the old days, it would tumble in many planes, and that tumbling and the changing from spinning in this direction to spinning in that direction is called the chaos action. And that is all of those things structure the water. Now, the water's so years ago, there used to be like 20,000 uh, molecules in a cluster. Now it's more like 60,000. So it's much harder, and nature may not even be up to the task now because the structures are so big. It has the tumbling and all of that may not be enough until it's been in that river for a long, long time. Uh, so it just we have to start helping now. It's serious. The world is not going to survive if we don't all start to get an understanding of structured water. Structured water has six molecules, like you were talking about, Bronwyn, in another talk. All the molecules in the plants are all, when they're healthy, they're
Yeah, bro.
six. So water and plants, it's all the same, it's the same thing. And so, by adding in your beautiful little babies, that's really going to assist in the coming back, because the water ain't structured. It's much, much
Mm.
harder for Mother Earth to work with it. So,
Yeah, thanks.
go
Thanks,
on.
Russell. We dropped out a bit there, but what Russell was saying is, in a perfect hexagonal form, we have a cluster of a perfect hexagonal molecule, which is two parts hydrogen, one part oxygen. So when you have that perfect molecule of hydrogen, when it comes in contact with a particle of soil, it structures the soil. Or when it comes in contact with another molecule of water, it structures that molecule of water. So we end up with a chain reaction of a perfect hexagonal form. So the idea behind this was when you use superstructured water with your microbes, everything happens much quicker. It's making it more
Mm.
bioavailable. So the change happens much stronger. And what we do is we increase the bioenergy photon field of the water. So the higher the energy, the quicker the change. So already alone with your microbes, you're seeing amazing results, which we'll talk about in a second. But it's basically shifting things a lot quicker. And when you structure the soil stays structured because if you structure a creek, for instance, in 7 days, the sun will destructure the creek. So it's one thing, it gets hidden under the ground and it can stay structured, which is basically rejuvenating and transforming the soil so everything starts to come back into harmony again. So in terms of like your soil microbes, how quickly are they working? And then the second part of that is, why would people not need to use plant food?
So we're a little bit, there's no other product like earth food. I want to say in the world, that's pretty bold, but definitely in Australia. We've got 5 major certifications that come from international authorities. There's no other product that has that. We're USDA, OMRI, EcoCert, Southern Cross, Australian Organics. We're Carbonate, Regenerate standards, and we have an international harmony code. The sorry, what's the question? I've just gone drifted.
How quickly does it happen with the
Okay,
with
that's
the
right.
microbes, and why would you not need plant food?
Okay, so our technology is, well, if you have waterborne microbes, which is what most people have when they talk water, they talk microbes, it's waterborne. Microbes will only live for 36 to 48 hours out of their natural environment. So when you go to the markets and you buy a milk container of, someone else's worm juice, if it's more than 48 hours, you've just bought high levels of nitrogen. Well, you might as well go to the green warehouse with the red hammer and just buy a packet of that, chuck it on. But the thing is this, if it's in there, the microbes, well, how come ours, can last 10 years on a shelf? Well, ours can because they're asleep. Our technology has been able to put them to sleep and they wake up with hydrogen, H2O, water. We mix it with water. Now, as soon as it hits water, they wake up by the power of 9 million by 9 million in 1 millimeter square. That's the stat we've got.
Brilliant.
Immediately. So you can imagine, and the microbes do what they've always done, and that is they reproduce. And next thing you know, you've got a patch very, very quickly. For those people, and we have heaps of them, when you use earth food, even on one plant, just say you used it on a small citrus sapling out the backyard, you'll spray those leaves because that's all you have to do. And you'll notice within about 6 weeks that you've got a little dark patches around on the ground, in the lawn perhaps. And then that dark green will start growing. Well, that's your microbes. It's actually on the move. They don't sit still. They are on the move. Next thing you know, if a tree near a neighbour, the neighbour's got a nice big green patch there. He's mowing as well. But that's the beauty of Mother Nature. She doesn't sit still, and she doesn't want water to sit still. She doesn't want the microbes to sit still. She doesn't want plants to sit still. Everything's got to grow. It grows and glows. So that's one of the things. Now, why don't you need plant food? Well, what is plant food? Plant food is NPK, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus. You might have blood and bone, which is the calcium. You might have, there's so many concoctions. Seaweed, that's high level of nitrogen. Salty nitrogen. Who wants to put salty nitrogen on a rainforest? Have you ever had to do that to make it grow? No. Why are we doing it to our pots and our plants? I know potting mix is a problem, and I know people are putting potting mix in garden beds on the ground, but that's where the microbes can break things down. Remember, they clean up the pathogens, they clean up the particles. Potting mix now comes complete with weed, seed, and gnat larvae. They start you off in the repeat business model of the cartels. Isn't that great? You don't get a choice.
So
Earth food will help clean that up as much as possible. And I can go around in people's backyards and I can identify the actual weed that comes from potting mix. It's there.
So could you get any old ordinary dirt and spray it with microbes and superstructured water and bring that dirt back to life again?
100%. I even bring dead trees back to life. because the roots are alive. If you've got earth food, the roots are alive in the ground, and they're quite long because that's the microbe's job, is to bring the roots down to protect what's going on up the top of the tree above ground. If you have a firebomb that goes across, or if you've got a flood or a snow, that top part could die off, but the actual tree can come back because of the root. So this is also part of what happens with plants. So people think, my plant's not doing well, I need to get a fertilizer. Well, fertilizer is high NPK, or it's just chemicals. That's all it is. Or if you want to do worm juice, which is high levels of nitrogen, salty stuff from the seas, the salty nitrogen. See, here's the thing. What are we told to put on our plants, our garden beds, and our pot plants? Nitrogen. But you know what? It's nitrogen that kills your soil biome.
Wow.
So we're caught. Like it's just a big lie. We're living in a Truman Show, folks.
Yeah. So the benefits of using the service with the superstructured water and us treating gardens and trees and grass would be that you wouldn't need to buy as much soil. You wouldn't need to buy plant food. Everything would thrive much more. You're going to get bigger yields. The energy, the actual energetics of the place is going to be better. There's less watering involved. Can you think of any other benefits?
Yeah, just wanted to say that.
Well, I can tell you one thing, that we've done third-party trials in various parts of the world by huge universities. One of the things that comes out is that by having a soil biome and I would actually increase this because of the structured water is like an added benefit because you've got higher levels of hydrogen. You save, on our current statistics and our current third-party trials, you save 70% on water usage.
Wow, that's amazing.
You get 40% more growth, not necessarily in the first season, possibly the second season, but you'll always get something. You'll get a 30% in the first season. So we got up to 40% increase in growth. And that's also the size and weight because it takes selenium from the soil. Selenium has weight. So farmers get paid on weight. You think you got their attention when you talk money, right? And they also have high density minerals in the actual food. Because when we talk about food, what did your food eat to become food? Most people don't realize that whatever it eats, it is in the tissue culture of the food. So when you go for a blood test, like you're not feeling good, go and get a blood test. They're going to check your iron, your copper, your magnesium, if you've got heart medication, it'll be phosphorus. If you've got, and potassium rather, and phosphorus and all of these things. Well, what are these? Minerals. But we're eating food that has no minerals. In fact, there was a trial done in Victoria in 2022 that at the end of the trial stated that 67% of the food, fresh food sold in the big food distribution channels had no nutritional value. It's because we're taking our nutrition out of little bottles. We're going online and we're buying bottles to supplement.
That's another benefit I forgot is the medicinal grade veggies and fruit that we can grow.
And also, and how our gut biome will love eating.
Well, that's another thing.
Exactly.
Actually, I've got a bottle right here. I'm just this is my party trick, folks.
Yeah.
So this is earth food, right?
Yep.
Oops,
Go back a bit. Yep. There we go.
There we are, back where I am. Now, I just breathed in my Bacterium bacchae, which is the natural antidepressant. And I can even, I can taste it. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anybody do it because I'm not FDA approved, but I'm just showing how toxic it is. Not.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that this also has, I'm just trying to think. It brings the nutrition in every blade of grass for cattle. up to
Mm.
40% more protein. Our lettuce, if you pick the lettuce from your backyard or even a big pot on your balcony, the protein level in that is up to 40% plus the high density nutrition, because it's all coming from these microbes that build that in the tissue culture of the food. Having said that, if your food is grown in high levels of glyphosate and other various chemicals, you can scrub and wash with baking soda all you like. It's in the tissue culture, not on the outside. So that's what you're eating. And we wonder why we've got so many more diseases. We've got more diseases now than we've ever had. We've got more insects, pesky weeds, natural history, flora and fauna dying than ever before, because it all starts from the ground. Our health, the planet health, the soil health, the insects, the plants, the animals, all of that is because of soil microbes have been stripped off out of the soil because of high levels of nitrogen, exposure to the sun, and other various chemicals as well. So when we use these chemicals to clean up all of that, the first round is like the Anzacs going over the wall in the first go. The first ones, they get the damage. It's the second ones who sort of build on what the first ones have done. So you've actually got an army that goes up over the wall. Here they are fighting, and then next thing you've got the next ones, and they're the ones doing the work. That's why we say to people, in the first 6 weeks, you spray this like once a week, say every 2 weeks, for example, because what you're doing is you're rehabbing. You're doing rehab on your soil, and once that's in place, then you can ease up a bit, because this should be a huge company. We're a small family Australian business, and this is all about bringing life into the soil. Now, where you have life in the soil and nanoparticles in the soil, then you have structured water that come in. Now you've got life. And I can tell you now, if you want that Garden of Eden, or if you want to bring back the garden you've always had, or the garden that you've always dreamed of, that's the recipe. You need structured water and soil microbes. Have it all.
Yeah, and I really love that the word aliveness comes up for me, where because in nature everything is always moving, isn't it? Nothing is stagnant. The water that animals go to and drink out of, there's always movement. And we were talking about that recently too, when we feed our pets, for example, or they're drinking out of a bowl, out of stagnant water. It's just nothing is the natural way. And I feel with structuring water and the microbes, we're really going back to basics, and water and nature remembering their blueprint, and through that, and as you said, then as we're building the soil, we're building a healthy gut biome, and yeah, even to go as far as being a natural antidepressant. Everything all of a sudden works. I feel all the minerals, absorption. It's just as nature intends it to be. And
Circling back to your comment about gut health, these are ancient soil biome. The ancient gut biome and it are very similar. A lot of people don't realize that your happiness hormones lie in the last part of your bowel.
Yeah.
And it's about 92%. I'm happy to be corrected, but I think it's like that high. So if we're feeding like sugary processed foods, those soil biomes are starving and our pathogens are being fed. So that's why when you have real healthy food with high nutrition, it feeds the ancient biome in our lower bowel. And that's how your skin looks great. Like it's almost anti-aging eventually. Your hair is healthy, your skin is healthy, your brain's functioning, your eyes is good. You know, like this is our repair toolkit. just purely by working with Mother Nature again. I mean, life has got so much to give us.
Mm.
And I also want to say one more thing. Mother Nature not just wants us to survive, she wants us to thrive.
Yes.
We
That's
can
right.
make huge money.
Yeah.
Everybody can have a go, have a crack and look at making money from Mother Nature. That's her. She's there for us. And, you know, we need edible seedlings. Well, I can tell you, if you were somebody that wanted to grow edible seedlings and you use structured water and earth food, you
Mm.
would have seeds pop in 3 days. You've got edible seedlings ready to sell every 14 days. We did this with somebody not that long ago during a time when half the world was shut down, and he made $350,000 cash a year
Wow.
because everybody wants the shortcut. Just give me the seedlings and I'll pop them in my garden, spray the earth food on the leaves, and voila. So it is really, when you think about it, everything that we need is for our happiness is
Mm.
right under our feet, whether
Yeah.
it's structured water. Now, I'm going to say, when Brad and Sabrina came to my house, they installed a nature harmony system. And I got to tell you, we've had some good rain since then. In fact, we had to stop filming on one of our series because we had too much rain.
Mm.
But you know what? We filmed like a week ago. I did a quick live this morning just to sort of tell people where we're at. And just even not being downstairs for 3 days because of the rain and early starts, late nights in the office, I walked down this morning, first time I've seen sun in 3 days. I couldn't believe it. It was beyond your imagination. I mean, people must walk through our backyard and think we're experts. They must think we've got the biggest green thumb. And no, I'm the world's laziest gardener. I haven't got the time. And no, I don't waste time and I don't waste money and I don't mess around. I just put the microbes in, put the plants in, and now we've got our harmonizer. I don't even have to water. I haven't watered for like nearly 3 weeks. So, go
Yeah.
figure.
And you would have noticed the Harmony Station has a way of increasing the greenery and plant growth itself.
That's
Just
what I'm saying.
yeah,
It's just like gone on a whole other level.
yeah.
It has.
And that's the
Because you were
presence of
there when
yeah.
our backyard was so broken and ugly because I'd been on the road for 14 months talking
Mm.
to, you know, all over Australia. I came home and the gardener we had was well, she thought oregano was a weed and turmeric and ginger were just overgrown plants that we didn't need. So that gives you an indication of when I came home, it was like, what happened here? And then I just couldn't face it. We had a hot summer in Brisbane. That was Christmas. And then January and February, I was in a hole. I just thought, oh, I just don't know what to do. And I just thought, you know what? And it's really hard working in a business in Australia, I'll tell you. And so I've just got the pips with it all. And I mean, I wish I was in Norway looking at the lights with my school friends, but you know, here we are. And so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go and fix up the homestead. That's my goal. I'll just go and do that. So I'll just start small. And I was lying in bed one night and it just an angel whisper came and it's like, record it. There are people out there who want to know how to do this. They don't know. They don't even know how to grow a lettuce. So start from square one. So the first video was clean up the mess. The second video, we've got you guys putting in the harmonizer. And I got to tell you, I was skeptic. I'm thinking, oh yeah, but we'll try everything, you know. Like I'm not going to try it. I thought we'll just give it a go. Yeah, okay, we'll see. Because I heard Norfolk Island had a lot of rain. I heard all these other places where the harmonizer had been, and I thought, oh yeah, okay, why not? But I tell you what, when it switched on, we were standing there and we saw the hologramic. I don't know how to describe it. I want to say it's invisible smoke, but you could see above it was changing. if we could put black.
It's like a frequency or
Yeah,
energy
something
field.
happened, and
Yeah.
Graham and I were standing there, and we are looking at it. We're going, "Oh my gosh, look at this," and look at,
Mm.
okay, I'm taking this on board, and next thing you know, everything was just flourishing, and it's I cannot get over it, and I thought I knew
Mm.
everything before.
No, well, there's actually over 60 years of science on orgone. Wilhelm Reich discovered orgone, and he learnt how to accumulate it. And yeah, all the science is there with the orgone research lab.
Mm-hmm.
So, and same as structured water, we use Clayton Noldy's structured water devices. He's been a scientist and physicist for 30 years and or nearabouts, and he had a team of scientists working under him, and he's tested and done all the science on the structured water. We've got Dr. Emoto. And one more thing on the structured water is when water is highly structured, it will surround or engulf any toxin. So whether it be fluoride or
Right.
glyphosate or whatever it is, the molecules surround the toxin and stop it from entering your body. So it's a good way to clean up your veggies too after you've grown them. Clean your veggies with structured water, obviously drinking structured water, more oxygen, more hydrogen, rejuvenate your cells, eliminate toxins, better energy. I would say your brain actually functions better as well. Russell's hair's been growing back and changing colour since he's been on the structured water. So yeah, we do have these devices, and one of these ones is this ceramic baby, which people can cable tie to their garden hose, and that structures the water through resonance or vibration. And yeah, people put them on their taps in their garden or their shower or their bath or their sink. And the other units we get are from America, which are Clayton's units. So we can basically what we're offering here is we can go to people's gardens. We can bring back their trees to life, their grass, their plants, get everything thriving again within 3 visits of using your soil-based microbes and the superstructured water. And then we can give them all the tools, the knowledge, and the information for them to maintain it moving forward. So it's not only a regeneration or rejuvenation process, it's an educational process. Telling them about soil-based microbes, telling them about orgone, telling them about structured water. So it's a complete harmony within and without, I'm calling it. What do you reckon,
I
Celine?
love that. Yeah, absolutely. And also, Bronwyn, with the microbes, you don't what's the ratio? You don't even need much. I think with one of your
No,
bottles.
no,
It,
look, see that little
mm,
dot amount up here?
yep.
Mm,
That's about 40 cents
Mm-hmm.
per application, and that's all you need per liter of water.
That's
mm,
I was
fantastic.
going to make a comment on your water about encapsulating, and that happens to our blood as well. So if anyone's ever seen a live blood test, you'll see that there's globules and they just go very, very slow and blob, blob like the old Pac-Man.
yeah.
Um, when you and I'm going to say this, I've seen you face to face, seen the whites of your eyes. You guys are a picture of health. Your skin is so smooth, your eyes are so clear. And I know that's because you're drinking this water. That
Mm.
Mm.
water is going into your blood. And if you did a live blood test, I can give you the name of Zoe and
Well,
Liz.
we
She's
did.
amazing.
We did,
Um,
and the water, blood was running like a river.
running.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had the same blood tests
2 years ago.
a year ago from the same lady before I was on structured water, and my blood was shit. So
100%.
it really gave it the life force back again.
Mm.
So my friend Zoe, she does these tests regularly, and she says
Mm.
she's even got people turning up now that have like black in their blood. Like
Mm.
Mm.
it's so still and so, I'm going to say the word, but she would never say it. This is my word, not hers. It's so dead. And the people, they're all aged, they've got black under their eyes, they've got, hair issues, nail issues, gut issues, they've got a sickness. And that's what happens when you don't have the movement, and if you don't have the medicine of nature, well, then nature can't help. We can't even help ourselves, It's crazy. The world we've built for ourselves. I've really been focused on finding way. In fact, that's what Graham and I do. We teach communities how to get off grid, how to have a life outside of the system. And it's not hard. It's not hard. He works on power, energy. He does a different thing. But look, collectively, water, food, soil, health, medicines, natural medicines, and we are in Australia having a medical supply shortage, a product supply shortage. So what do you do when you can't get that? Well, why don't you just sort of give your system a break, stop eating for a day, flush it out with structured water, and get the blood cleaned up. And then, if you have to have something from nature, that you can have rosella, dried out rosella flowers, we've got so much, and we teach people that, it's everything's there. Just stop complaining and get on with it. We're just a bunch of whingers, really.
Yeah.
We've got all the answers. That's it. Hey, Rusty.
And I love what Victor Schauberger says about the structured water and water that comes out of a spring. It is our lifeblood. And I think whatever goes on in nature goes on inside of our bodies. And as you said, and how beautifully we can clean up our blood, and how important it is to, do some fasting and have a structured water fast. And there's so much we can do, and I feel the time is now. The time is now to make the changes, and I feel we are coming together. It's a beautiful synchronicity for us to work together and rejuvenate the soil, help the weather. It's all happening.
The importance of right now of the self-sustainability of growing your own food, of making sure you're protected from weather events, of harmonizing your own energy, drinking structured water, cleansing, purifying. The times that we're in, we're not sure where it's heading with the fuel shortages, potential lockdowns again, who knows? But I think the number one thing we can do is take care of our surroundings, take care of our body, and by growing food and drinking good water, it's basically back to basics, essential things that we need to do. So what do you? Yeah, one more.
And one more thing I wanted to say, I feel it's got to be simple. I think nature has a simplicity. And if we can also, again, Victor Schauberger, you observe nature and you copy nature. And I think there's such a beautiful simplicity. And also as an astrologer, we are coming in a time, and it's starting this year over the next 7 years, with the invitation back to nature, back to the simple ways. And I feel that's really what we're doing, because nothing here is complex. Everything is simple. We need actually less of everything than more.
Yeah. And if
One of the
we
things. Sorry, go.
if we let technology advance too much and don't go back to nature, then our civilization is heading in a bad direction. So I'm going to ask you one more question, and then we'll see what Russell has to say, and we'll sum it all up. So my question for you, Bronwyn, is let's say you've got a everyday bogan backyard. There's nothing going on. They never do anything to it. It's just barren. It's ugly. It's, not green. It's all dirt. You go and spray it with microbes 3 times, structured water. Everything starts to come back to life. How does the grass, how does the existing trees get its nutrients? Tell me about how the microbes have a way of searching for what they need. Is it through the mycelium network that they do that?
No. Only if the plant is sick, because that's the internet for the plants and the trees. That's their internet. That's how they communicate to each other. what happens is the soil is their food. The problem with soil today is that it's dead, dusty, dry, medium, I'm going to say. It's not alive. And so if that happens, then it's really hard for things to grow. And that's how you get the pesky weeds and the pesky insects, because they're designed by Mother Nature to come in and help protect the outer layer. The problem is everything is bound. These plants need minerals to live. That's their food. That's their smorgasbord, minerals. These microbes unlock all the minerals. They break down. Well, if you're in Perth, for example, you've got sandy, loamy soil, they'll help break up that sand and structure it. That's the Gold Coast as well. If you're like out west in Toowoomba, the red clay, they break that up. It's called fluctuation. They break it into tiny nanoholes, which holds condensation, hot day, cold night. That's free water. If you have, so basically in a nutshell, what they do is they return the dead dirt into fertile chocolate brown living soil. We had a farmer west of Alice Springs who used earth food in a small area. I think it was like 1 acre by 1 acre. And he turned that in a forever forest in the desert. And this is what you can do when you're working with Mother Nature. She doesn't discern. Like when you go in looking at shelves of product, you see there's product for grass, product for citrus, African violets, roses, your greens and your tomatoes. Well, that's called marketing. That's not what Mother Nature does. She doesn't care. A root is a root is a root. And she will work with the root zone. So what happens is the microbes will unlock all the nutrients for the sugars for the microbes to eat, and the microbes unlock all the nutrients in the soil for the plant to eat. It's a biosymbiotic relationship. How structured water comes in is the high level of hydrogen that helps the plant breathe. We're talking about the planet breathing, taking it back, absorbing all the goodness that comes. And I'm talking about physical, mineral, the metality, the metality, not mentality, the metality, metals, the flow, the frequency, the vibe, the Schuster's resonance, the lift, the breath. It all comes really from I haven't said it there. It's just life. It's life. And life has to have movement. If it's not, it's dead. Or near dead.
Yeah, amazing stuff. What do you reckon, Russell?
I'm thrilled. I'm
Yeah.
I'm so pleased to have met you, Bronwyn.
Yeah,
And I look forward to working. I think if we ever get together face to face, we'll probably have a very long conversation.
That's it.
yeah. So our intention is to get out there, help the soil, help the trees, transform gardens, clean up bodies of water in nature, including mining sites if we can. But yeah, overall, just creating harmony and balance for Mother Earth, for the animals and humanity. And yeah, it's a pleasure to work with you and learn from you, Bronwyn. I must say, I'm very new to soil microbes, but it's really making sense now because it's very much like what we're doing with the structured water. It's all about taking the water or the soil back to its original blueprint. So from there, it has the intelligence.
Good
Also want
job,
to
Bronwyn.
say for everyone, just have a go. Just
Mm.
back yourself, have a crack and get into it. That's
That's
really
it.
the bottom line. It's not hard. Make a phone call, pick up the phone now and
Yeah.
get onto Green Clean and get started.
Yeah.
It's not hard work. Sorry, Rusty, I cut you off. Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's just a thrill. Like I'm just absolutely thrilled with what you're doing, and you've just opened another doorway for me, a deeper understanding of gardening. You
Yeah.
know, and I'm gonna drive this. I really am. You know, I think your product already,
Yeah.
I've seen stuff and it's just like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And Russell and his wife, they're keen gardeners, so we've already, yeah,
And they've
been
and
some
they've got
different.
plenty of the soil microbes sitting there in the garage, so time to get to use them. And just
Mm,
quickly, we've transformed our valley. It was all clay and mud,
mm,
and no life, just crap. It looks like someone's been hitting it with glyphosate and
Mm,
just clay, literally. And we sprayed it only twice with microbes and structured water. Now we've got all this life there, all this greenery, all the there's a couple of frangipanis, they've started to flower.
mm,
All the weeds are coming back again, but they're all flourishing. I'm just leaving the weeds because I want to let the valley get
mm,
life again.
mm.
I don't want to pull the weeds out and take away the
Exactly.
life. I want
Exactly.
there to be life and let the soil rebuild. So that's what we're doing. And
Mm.
no, so well, anyone wants to contact us, it's natureharmonystations.org, and we're about to do a name change, which will be natureharmony.com.au, and we're Green Clean, and you'll also find us on Telegram and YouTube, Team Water Clean. And what about you, Bromlin?
Yourearthfood.com.
Nice. A bit simpler than mine.
I keep it
Yeah,
simple.
yeah. No, it's all
yeah.
about simplicity. Well, thank you for your time,
A
and
pleasure.
look forward to launching this service, which we'll be doing in the next couple of weeks in the Northern Rivers and also
Indeed.
southern Queensland, up there near Gold Coast, the hinterland, anywhere in the region of Northern Rivers, 2 hours either way, we can come and educate and transform gardens back to life.
Thank you very much. And thank you for working with me because I've learned something too. And I just think we've got all the bases covered now. And I've actually seen the results, and it's only been a month,
Mm.
Mm.
and
Wow.
it's a big difference. So I am doing a video series of restoring my homestead, my backyard, standard backyard homestead.
Mm.
Mhm.
And anyone can jump on. It's usually in Meta and YouTube. I do lives occasionally just to keep people up to date, but basically that's Bronwyn Holm. Basically, I want to say that just even the first month, we had the harmonizer put in the first month, massive difference,
Mm.
massive. And as I said, I'm lazy, so it's not like I'm working hard. I am not. I'm lazy. I don't waste money on fancy stuff and fancy garden beds, and everything I get's off the footpath. I'm eclectic, and I try to show people anyone can do this. Doesn't have to cost you a lot of money, doesn't have to be a lot of labor, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot of time, which is
Mm.
what gardening has become in our lifetime. It's become expensive, time consuming, and laborsome, and you get zero results or bugger all. So you can get a
Mm,
tomato for $120. But you know, that's not what this is about. This is about bringing life. When you have life in the
Mm.
soil mixed with
yeah.
the structured water, the remembrance of water, the soil intelligence, when those two are married, it's a marriage in heaven on earth,
Mm.
then you've got the blessings of the Garden of Eden that we all should have had all our lifetime that have been stopped
Mm.
since in the last 80 years. So
Mm.
if
Yeah.
it is to be, it's up to me. I just ask everybody, if you're an occupant living on this planet, you have a duty now to stand up and just do something in all the things that you've learnt tonight. Just do one thing that's going to future-proof Australia and give the inheritance to the kids, because there's no coming back after this. We're at a tipping point.
Mm.
Good on you. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.